A reading from 2 Samuel chapter 20. There happened to be in Gilgal a worthless character named Sheba, son of Bichri of the tribe of Benjamin. He blew the trumpet and called out, "Down with David! We won't follow him. Men of Israel, let's go home." So the Israelites deserted David and went with Sheba. But the men of Judah remained loyal and followed David from the Jordan to Jerusalem. When David arrived at his palace in Jerusalem, he took the 10 concubines he had left to take care of the palace and put them under guard. He provided for their needs but did not have intercourse with them. They were kept confined for the rest of their lives, living like widows. The king said to Amasa, "Call the men of Judah together and be back here with them by the day after tomorrow." Amasa went to call them, but he did not get back by the time the king had told him to. So the king said to Abishai, "Sheba will give us more trouble than Absalom. Take my men and go after him, or else he may occupy some fortified towns and escape from us." So Joab's men, the royal bodyguards, and all the other soldiers left Jerusalem with Abishai to go after Sheba. When they reached the large rock at Gibeon, Amasa met them. Joab was dressed for battle with a sword in its sheath fastened to his belt. As he came forward, the sword fell out. Joab said to Amasa, "How are you, my friend?" and took hold of his beard with his right hand in order to kiss him. Amasa was not on guard against the sword that Joab was holding in his other hand, and Joab stabbed him in the belly, and his insides spilled out on the ground. He died immediately, and Joab did not have to strike again. Then Joab and his brother Abishai went on after Sheba. One of Joab's men stood by Amasa's body and called out, "Everyone who is for Joab and David, follow Joab." Amasa's body, covered with blood, was lying in the middle of the road. Joab's man saw that everybody was stopping, so he dragged the body from the road out into the field and threw a blanket over it. After the body had been removed from the road, everyone followed Joab in pursuit of Sheba. Sheba passed through the territory of all the tribes of Israel and came to the city of Abel Beth Maacah, and all the members of the clan of Bichri assembled and followed him into the city. Joab's men heard that Sheba was there, and so they went and besieged the city. They built ramps of earth against the outer wall and also began to dig under the wall to make it fall down. There was a wise woman in the city who shouted from the wall, "Listen, listen, tell Joab to come here. I want to speak with him." Joab went and she asked, "Are you Joab?" "Yes, I am," he answered. "Listen to me, sir," she said. "I'm listening," he answered. She said, "Long ago they used to say, 'Go and get your answer in the city of Abel.' And that's just what they did. Ours is a great city, one of the most peaceful and loyal in Israel. Why are you trying to destroy it? Do you want to ruin what belongs to the Lord?" "Never," Joab answered. "I will never ruin or destroy your city. That is not our plan. A man named Sheba, son of Bichri, who is from the hill country of Ephraim, started a rebellion against King David. Hand over this one man, and I will withdraw from the city." "We will throw his head over the wall to you," she said. Then she went to the people of the city with her plan, and they cut off Sheba's head and threw it over the wall to Joab. He blew the trumpet as a signal for his men to leave the city, and they went back home. And Joab returned to Jerusalem to the king. Joab was in command of the army of Israel. Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, was in charge of David's bodyguards. Adoniram was in charge of the forced labor. Jehoshaphat, son of Ahilud, was in charge of the records. Sheva was the court secretary. Zadok and Abiathar were the priests. And Ira from the town of Jair was also one of David's priests. The word of the Lord. A reading from 2 Samuel chapter 21. During David's reign there was a severe famine which lasted for 3 full years. So David consulted the Lord about it, and the Lord said, Saul and his family are guilty of murder. He put the people of Gibeon to death. The people of Gibeon were not Israelites. They were a small group of Amorites, whom the Israelites had promised to protect, but Saul had tried to destroy them because of his zeal for the people of Israel and Judah. So David summoned the people of Gibeon and said to them, What can I do for you? I want to make up for the wrong that was done to you, so that you will bless the Lord's people. They answered, Our quarrel with Saul and his family can't be settled with silver or gold, nor do we want to kill any Israelite. What then do you think I should do for you? David asked. They answered, Saul wanted to destroy us and leave none of us alive anywhere in Israel. So hand over 7 of his male descendants, and we will hang them before the Lord at Gibeah, the hometown of Saul, the Lord's chosen king. I will hand them over, the king answered, but because of the sacred promise that he and Jonathan had made to each other, David spared Jonathan's son, Mephibosheth, the grandson of Saul. However, he took Armoni and Mephibosheth, the 2 sons that Rizpah, the daughter of Aiah, had borne to Saul. He also took the 5 sons of Saul's daughter Merab, whom she had borne to Adriel, son of Barzillai, who was from Meholah. David handed them over to the people of Gibeon, who hanged them on the mountain before the Lord, and all 7 of them died together. It was late in the spring, at the beginning of the barley harvest, when they were put to death. Then Saul's concubine, Rizpah, the daughter of Aiah, used sackcloth to make a shelter for herself on the rock where the corpses were, and she stayed there from the beginning of harvest until the autumn rains came. During the day, she would keep the birds away from the corpses, and at night, she would protect them from wild animals. When David heard what Rizpah had done, he went and got the bones of Saul and of his son Jonathan from the people of Jabesh in Gilead. They had stolen them from the public square in Bethshan, when the Philistines had hanged the bodies on the day they killed Saul on Mount Gilboa. David took the bones of Saul and Jonathan and also gathered up the bones of the 7 men who had been hanged. Then they buried the bones of Saul and Jonathan in the grave of Saul's father Kish in Zelah in the territory of Benjamin, doing all that the king had commanded. And after that, God answered their prayers for the country. There was another war between the Philistines and Israel, and David and his men went and fought the Philistines. During one of the battles, David grew tired. A giant named Ishbi-benob, who was carrying a bronze spear that weighed about 7.5 pounds and who was wearing a new sword, thought he could kill David. But Abishai, son of Zeruiah, came to David's help, attacked the giant, and killed him. Then David's men made David promise that he would never again go out with them to battle. "You are the hope of Israel, and we don't want to lose you," they said. After this, there was a battle with the Philistines at Gob, during which Sibbecai from Husha killed a giant named Saph. There was another battle with the Philistines at Gob, and Elhanan, son of Jair from Bethlehem, killed Goliath from Gath, whose spear had a shaft as thick as the bar on a weaver's loom. Then there was another battle at Gath, where there was a giant who loved to fight. He had 6 fingers on each hand and 6 toes on each foot. He defied the Israelites, and Jonathan, the son of David's brother Shammah, killed him. These 4 were descendants of the giants of Gath, and they were killed by David and his men. The word of the Lord.